One thing that we've run across here after following this blog article of synchronizing Smart Connect 21 users after changing license from perpetual to SaaS is a new error message. So they've changed their licensing from perpetual to SaaS, and then they upgraded to Smart Connect 21.1 1567 or a little bit more recent, and they're no longer getting login errors, but now we're getting a different login error. The error that they're seeing now is the user ID in the database is different from the user ID in the UAM. Please synchronize the users from the configuration tool for this instance. And so in this case, it has created the user, but there still is a user ID issue in the database in our UAM for some reason. After digging through it a little bit and running SQL profile traces and such, what it looks like is as Smart Connect configuration tool is spinning through the table and changing the places where that user ID, that GUID, needs to be changed, it's failing due to a foreign key, in this case FK underscore 3B074E67, and failed because of this foreign key. This makes sense because in the other cases of the foreign keys, and we don't show it in the SQL profile trace here, but we can see it dropping the foreign keys for multiple tables, but this one didn't get dropped. And so it fails, and thus this one, then the last one that actually is the one that's being checked, failed to update. This problem actually has been solved in version 21.1.0.1645, which I believe is the most recent at the time of this recording. And we can solve that. So to solve this, the easy way is just go back to the configuration tool, update to that 1645, that new version, or whatever the latest is, and then rerun the synchronized user. And this time it will drop that foreign key for you, and it will synchronize properly, and the UAM error will go away. But if we weren't going to update, because we didn't have time to check and, whatever, we could actually do this manually. So if we go to SQL Server Management Studio, we can look in our Smart Connect 21 database. I called mine SC2021 and not Smart Connect 21 like a lot of people do. And so if we go back to the error that it showed us, it told us this, and it was the DB user form option. So if I look and I just do a filter settings, I just look for the word option, and I find a few different tables. So here's the user form option table. Development had said this table is no longer used. So the easiest approach would be is we could just, delete this table. That's not a problem because it's no longer used. But if we want to take a conservative approach, says, yeah, let's just be a little bit more conservative. All we have to do is go expand the user form option table, and we can just delete that foreign key. Boom. And there's also a user web form option table, which supposedly isn't used either, and there's no data in mine. If we look, for some reason I have two foreign keys, and I suspect that's because I've updated this database many times over the course, and somewhere along the line we got two foreign keys. It actually is the same one. I scripted the keys out, and we can say it's the user form option on the user ID and the user form option. So they're actually the same key. I don't need either of them. So we can drop them. So now, even if I don't upgrade to 1645, now that I've dropped these foreign keys, then when I log in, when I go into the configuration tool and again rerun the synchronized user process, because I've dropped the foreign keys, now it will successfully update that GUID value properly because there's no foreign key to fail, and you'd be able to log in properly. So I wouldn't have to update today. We'd recommend that you do to get on the newest one, you get the newest fixes, hot fixes, etc. We'd recommend you upgrade to the newest version. But if you say, hey, we have to get this up and going today and we don't have time to test this new version, we can get around it by just dropping the foreign keys manually in SQL as I did, and then rerunning the configuration tool synchronize user process, and that will synchronize those GUIDs, and you won't get the UAM error anymore.